how far away do you guys think Florida is from being a legitimate college football playoff contender? Could we see them be a playoff contender in the next 9, 10 months from now? Or are they still a little ways away from being able to compete for a playoff spot this year, entering their fourth season under Billy Napier? Because to me, I don't believe that Florida is a playoff contender this year. I think that they are still at least 1 year away from being in that conversation to where you view them just not as a surefire playoff pick, but you also could see them potentially competing for the SEC. 2026 is the year I really believe that Florida is going to put it all together and they're going to be able to make a big run, because a lot of their team coming into this year is fairly young. You know, the majority of their best players last year were underclassmen. DJ Lagway, true freshman. Jaden Ball, who led the team in rushing yards as a true freshman. You know, Aiden Mizell, he also is pretty young. There are so many talented players on Florida's roster that just don't have enough experience yet for this to be a playoff team. And I get the hype around DJ Lagway. He did an incredible job during his true freshman campaign. He led Florida to back-to-back rank wins for the first time in a few years. You know, it definitely has caused a lot of optimism to be placed into this program again that has been lacking over these last couple of years. And my thing with DJ Lagway isn't that I question if he's going to live up to his potential, because I'm confident DJ Lagway is going to be everything that he was hyped up to be coming out of high school. My problem is how Florida fans expect him to play this season, because it seems like Florida fans expect him to take what they like to call a Tebow leap. Because remember, Tebow and Lagway both were highly touted coming out of high school, and both guys were underestimated when it came to the expectations for how good they could be their second season as the starter. You know, nobody expected Tebow to blow up the way that he did when he fully took over the keys to the Florida offense. And the same thing is kind of being said about DJ Lagway, although, you know, I feel like more people are higher on DJ Lagway going into his second season than what people were when it came to Tim Tebow, just because look at the Heisman odds. You know, DJ Lagway's in the top 10. Everybody's talking about Florida from a national standpoint because of, you know, the optimism people have about DJ Lagway and where he can take this Florida program. But there still is some questions about DJ Lagway. Is he going to grow more comfortable throwing the football from within the pocket? Is he going to be more accurate? Like, is the jump that we're going to see out of DJ Lagway this year going to be big enough to where he's a Heisman finalist and he has Florida competing for a spot in the playoffs? You know, I really don't know. I see DJ Lagway having a season where he throws for 20 touchdowns. He runs for about 12 or 13. You know, he completes around 63, 64% of his passes. He has a pretty productive season, but I still don't think that he'll be good enough to have Florida competing for a playoff spot with, once again, having another gruesome schedule. I mean, after you play LIU and USF, it's tough sledding from there. You got to open SEC play on the road in Death Valley against LSU. You're playing your rival Miami on the road. You got Texas off a bye. Then you got to go on the road to play in College Station against Texas A&M, Georgia, Ole Miss on the road, Tennessee. This year's schedule for Florida may be even more difficult than what it was for them in 2024. And then who the hell is going to be the new defensive coordinator? Because Florida seems to be dragging their feet with that. Austin Armstrong, he leaves to take the Houston defensive coordinator job, and you still have not found his replacement. So there's a lot of questions for Florida that we're not going to get answers to when it comes to them being able to compete for a playoff spot until this season kicks off. I'm not denying that DJ Lagway is going to be good this season, but I doubt that he's going to take this big leap that Florida fans believe he will to what Tim Tebow did. I just think that's a little bit unrealistic. And I feel like the pressure that Florida fans are putting on DJ Lagway, it's a little bit too much. Because when you have a quarterback like DJ Lagway that has these high expectations and he doesn't play up to them when the season starts, then the fan base starts to turn on him. And, you know, some fans have to realize that growth isn't an overnight thing. You just don't go from being a true freshman that was kind of looking like a chicken with his head cut off to all of a sudden you're the best quarterback in college football in this short of a span. You know, look at Dylan Raiola and Nico Iamaleava. They started out their true freshman seasons great, and then look how it ended. They kind of went a little bit cold. So when you have somebody like DJ Lagway that has all this potential, sometimes fans jump the gun and they think so much about how good they'll make their team if they just reach their potential right away, when they kind of forget that it's a process. And normally it takes about the player's third season of college ball for it to finally all come together as a quarterback. You know, Lenore Sellers had a great season last year, and he was a redshirt freshman. He actually sat a year behind Spencer Rattler, and even then, you know, his first 2 months last season were really ugly, to say the least. He did not look that impressive, and at one point, South Carolina fans wanted him benched. So I just don't see Florida being a playoff contender this year. I think that they're going to make their run at competing for the SEC championship and the playoffs in 2026. They just need one more year for their underclassmen to get more experience, get a little bigger and stronger. And when you go into 2026, you're walking into probably one of the 3 most talented rosters in the SEC with how well Billy Napier has recruited and developed. So with how well these underclassmen played last year with another good season, when we go into 2026 and half or if not more of this roster is comprised of juniors and seniors, Florida's going to be a really dangerous team. But they're just one more year away from being able to make that big run, from being able to say the Florida Gators are truly back.